Okay, I'm jumping in early this time because I feel like I need to do a little bit of context and get in there early and kind of describe what's happening and why I did it this way. Because if you're looking at what I'm doing, it's that shock mount that needs to line up with so that there's the body shock mount, that's what I'm replacing, and then there's the shock mount on the chassis. Those two things need to line up. That's kind of important to do. And so really, the way you should do this is while it's sitting on the body. But you'll see that I did not do it that way. Some will say that this was the wrong way to do it. I don't disagree that that's the wrong way to do it. But knowing what I know now, so I've jumped in early so I can kind of like manage things a little bit and tell you that everything that I did, it worked out. It lined up perfectly. My process here, it worked and it was sound and everything lined up perfectly. But I will still say that probably this isn't the very best way to do it. The very best way to do it is always going to be on the body. But I just want to jump in and say this worked. And this came, I was going to own up to it. This came from a place of being really lazy. I knew that I had to put the body back on the chassis, but I really didn't want to. And so I thought long and hard about a different way to approach this. And I came up with this, the idea of a plumb bob to kind of like locate where the hole needs to be. And say what you want to say about lazy people. And I know I give the impression that I'm not a lazy person. I'm actually quite a lazy person. But if you want to find the quickest way to do a job or the most efficient way to do a job, ask a lazy person. That's the for real thing. Like, I'm not fast and efficient. I'm actually lazy and I value my downtime. So I didn't want to do the big job of putting the body back on. So that's where that actually came from. And yeah, it was kind of a gamble to do it this way because after I did this on both sides, you'll see in the next episode, I did this on both sides. And yeah, it's a gamble to do it this way. It's kind of a high risk, but maybe high reward sort of situation. Because I knew that after I had it done, I wouldn't be able to test it until I put the whole body back on the chassis, which I knew wasn't going to happen for probably 8 or 9 months as kind of the last test I do before I put the body in epoxy after all the metal work is done. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to test this for a really long time. And yeah, when I put the body on the chassis for that time to test it, I was really nervous. But then everything lined up and I got that confirmation that it worked and we're fine. But I'll still say maybe the best way to do this is with the body on the chassis. But if you're lazy like me and you want to just like do it kind of a quicker way, give this a try. But I can't guarantee it will work for you. Skill levels vary and outcomes will vary as well. The other thing I want to get ahead of is this panel it's like the whole wheel well. So you can actually replace that whole wheel well. And I'm going to answer this again because I know I'll get questions about it, or I usually do anyways, is why not use the whole panel? From all the research that I've done on replacing that whole panel is that this particular panel, no matter which aftermarket vendor you get it from, it is terrible to fit, like really, really terrible and awful to fit. That may not be the case with everybody, but the general feedback was that this is a very difficult panel to fit. So going along with the idea that I want to keep as much original metal as possible, I only cut out what I needed. And even that was really hard to fit. It was a lot of bending and banging and trying to make sure everything was fitting. And I spent a lot of time doing that so that, you don't have to fight it when you're welding it. Get it fitting perfectly before you weld it. Otherwise you'll fight and then things might come out of fitment and then you're in trouble. So that's the reason why I didn't use the whole panel there, because I had just heard so many things about how difficult that particular panel was to fit. So anyways, we're going to get back to the video. You're going to see the rest of it now. And yeah, just remember that this totally works. Everything lined up and you don't have to worry about it. All right.